This is a hard-driving, very hard-working individual. I was astounded.
He took a screwdriver into a little crack in the floor, and when we did, the whole floor lifted up.
Okay, John, go ahead. What I tell you is what I know is fact.
I'm a power person. I enjoy power. Nobody else had the guts to pull off what I pulled off.
A seemingly normal construction worker known by his neighbors as fun and outgoing, John Wayne Gacy was involved in politics and even acted as a clown for birthday parties. Until the shocking truth came out, he was no clown. Early life and background.
John Gacy was a son of a blue-collar worker, a mother who was a pharmacist. His biological father drank alcohol, but continued to work. He was considered a functioning alcoholic.
From what I understand, he was physically abused by his father, and his father was often not available or was intoxicated.
In John Wayne Gacy's early life, his father, a World War I veteran, was an alcoholic who beat him and his siblings with a belt. Gacy's father often belittled him, calling him stupid and comparing him unfavorably to his sisters. Gacy's troubles started young.
His father frequently told him that he was a failure, he wouldn't amount to anything. So again, you think of how someone growing up with that kind of verbal abuse and emotional abuse would develop as an adult. His father was also known for abusing Gacy's mother. In fact, engaging in physical fights with her that Gacy must have witnessed. Now, clearly those sorts of things have an impact on a person's development and the way they look at the world.
He was molested by a family friend and a contractor, and by age 10, he and a friend were accused of intimately fondling a young girl. Gacy's early years were marked by health issues, including seizures and blackouts, stemming from a congenital heart condition. His struggles continued into adolescence, where he faced alienation at school due to his health and inability to bond with his peers.
At school, the young Gacy continued to disappoint.
He entered serially high schools, and to great disappointment to his father, he tended to fail. And there were reasons for failure perhaps put forward. I mean, he was ADHD, he had real problems concentrating.
He realized he was attracted to men, but grappled with his intimate preferences in a time when it wasn't accepted. These challenges set the stage for Gacy's later crimes, shaping his troubled psyche and contributing to his descent into darkness. The Slayer Clown. Gacy's seemingly harmless job of being a clown served as a sinister tool in his crimes, enabling him to ensnare victims with a facade of innocence. Under the guise of Pogo the Clown or Patches the Clown, Gacy manipulated the trust of unsuspecting individuals, leveraging the universal allure of clowns to disarm and deceive.
Not knowing how evil he was, you would like to have him in your community. He was active in the JCs, which is the Junior Chamber of Commerce, and he was a volunteer for the political party of his choice, and he was very well thought of in a very small world.
At children's parties and community events, Gacy's clown persona provided a cloak of normalcy, concealing the darkness lurking beneath. With a painted smile and colorful costume, he cultivated an image of joviality and harmless amusement, luring victims into his orbit with promises of entertainment and fun. Once under his control, Gacy's victims were confronted with the stark reality behind the clown's mask.
He was a big name in town, and when he walked in, he was John. He had the big car outside. He had the money. Everybody knew he was wealthy. He had a big business. And when he approached boys that were 14, 15, 16 years old, making minimum wage, and he was promising them almost double salary just to work in a construction site and help him build, these boys jumped at the chance.
A twisted realm of sadistic pleasure and unspeakable horrors, including physical attack, torture, and ultimately slaying. The same hands that once crafted balloon animals and painted faces now inflicted unimaginable pain and suffering.
Scary man that's going to pop up from behind a bush and attack and kill.
His victims.
Gacy began actively cruising Chicago's city streets, looking to pick up young men from gay districts.
He would keep them entertained with his verbal rapport and be able to actually charm them quickly and rapidly into situations that they could not escape from. And once he had got them into a position where he felt that he was totally in power, he would change. He would change very quickly.
In January 1972, John Wayne Gacy began his slaying spree. He invited 16-year-old Timothy McCoy over, promising something more than friendship. But things turned ugly when Gacy attacked McCoy with a knife, wrongly thinking he was a threat. Sadly, McCoy was just trying to make breakfast. Gacy didn't stop there. He tricked another young man, John Butkovich, into coming over and then slayed him too. Gacy liked to use handcuffs, pretending they were for magic tricks, but they were tools of his evil deeds. As the 1970s went on, more terrible things happened. People accused Gacy of awful crimes, but he managed to hide his true self. Meanwhile, he buried his victims in his home's crawl space, hiding the awful truth. One young man, Robert Donnelly, managed to escape Gacy's clutches, but not before enduring terrible suffering. Gacy let him go, warning him to keep quiet, but Donnelly bravely spoke up to the police. Gacy's downfall came when a boy named Robert Peace disappeared after saying he was meeting Gacy.
Robert Peace, who was an all-American high school kid with a good family, who were going to report him as missing, who were going to say, how's the police investigation going? It was only by choosing that type of victim that really was the unraveling of Gacy.
Investigation and arrest. In 1978, the walls of John Wayne Gacy's dark world began closing in. When 15-year-old Robert Peace vanished after arranging to meet Gacy, his family's concerns sparked a search that would unravel Gacy's facade of normalcy. Authorities descended upon Gacy's home, unearthing a trove of chilling evidence: police badges, a pistol, and items belonging to missing victims. A pivotal moment came when investigators unearthed a receipt linking Gacy to Peace's disappearance, contradicting his claims of innocence. Further searches revealed a horrifying truth hidden beneath Gacy's suburban facade: trenches filled with human remains in his crawl space. Gacy's once sturdy fortress of deception crumbled under the weight of incriminating evidence. As police pieced together the gruesome puzzle, Gacy's true nature emerged, a monster lurking in plain sight. Months later, his house was demolished in search of more clues. Amidst the rubble, one worker's chilling words echoed the sentiment of a community left reeling. If the devil's alive, he lived here. Trial and conviction. The trial of John Wayne Gacy commenced on February 6, 1980, marking the beginning of the end for the man who terrorized a community. Despite Gacy's confession, the courtroom drama unfolded as lawyers debated his mental state. Gacy, with his disturbing claim of multiple personalities, hoped to escape a traditional prison sentence by pleading insanity. His defense team presented a complex picture of a man divided, with personas ranging from a contractor to a clown, each allegedly vying for control. Yet, the prosecution painted a different portrait, one of a calculating slayer who meticulously planned and carried out his crimes. Gacy's elaborate efforts to conceal his atrocities stood as damning evidence against his claims of insanity. As the trial progressed, mental health experts testified, each offering their perspective on Gacy's twisted psyche. On March 12, 1980, the jury delivered its verdict: guilty on all 33 counts of slaying. Gacy's fate was sealed, cementing his status as one of America's most notorious serial slayers. Behind bars at the Menard Correctional Center, Gacy continued to defy justice, appealing his sentence and proclaiming his innocence through a recorded statement. Amidst the confines of prison life, Gacy found solace in art, particularly painting. His eerie depictions, often featuring his alter ego, Pogo the Clown, captured the attention of the public, sparking both fascination and revulsion. Years later, Gacy's disturbing legacy persisted as his artworks and crime scene photographs found their way to auction blocks. Demise and last words.
He was convicted and sentenced to death for torturing and then killing 33 young men and boys.
After the U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear Gacy's final appeal in October 1993, he was scheduled to be put down by lethal injection on May 10, 1994, at the Stateville Correctional Center in Crest Hill, Illinois. Before his demise, Gacy said the victims' families would get no comfort from his demise and accused the state of slaying him. His last words were reportedly, "Kiss my A." In the years since Gacy's arrest, there have been lingering concerns that Gacy might have been responsible for the slayings of other people whose bodies have yet to be found. And when police uncovered human remains in Gacy's house in 1978, 8 bodies couldn't be identified. In July 2017, Cook County authorities used DNA evidence to identify one of these unidentified victims as 16-year-old James Jimmy Byron Hawkinson, who had been reported missing since 1976. In October 2021, DNA testing identified another of Gacy's victims as 21-year-old Francis Wayne Alexander, who also disappeared in 1976. Signing off for now. Tune in next time for another riveting episode.